Hi everyone, sorry you can't come in for the autumn parents evening this year. This meeting is usually where we get our first chance to meet officially. We check your details, that everything we have on record is correct and up to date, and we explain the workings of the classroom and how we do things in nursery. First of all, I'd like to remind you about start and finish times. Thank you to those of you who are always prompt. It's more important than ever that we arrive on time and not too early or not too late at the moment. Times are morning nursery is 9 o'clock until 11:30 and afternoon nursery is 1 o'clock until 3:05. The reason for the staggered change of times is to make sure that there aren't too many adults on the property at one time waiting for the children, to allow for social distancing due to the current restrictions due to COVID. Can I also remind you, please, that outside the nursery where the lines are for you to wait, they are spaced at 2 metres. Please adhere to these social distance guidelines at all times for your safety and the safety of the other parents waiting for their children. We also have a one-way system outside, so when you've picked up your child, if you can move very quickly to the right, you might need to stop and help your child get into a buggy or something, but if you can move away from the door to allow the next parent to pick their child up and move around you safely. Thank you for that. Other classes within the school have asked children to bring a water bottle into school with their name clearly marked. Now, our nursery children are a little bit young for everyone to recognise what's theirs and what isn't. And some of the children might want to drink the water out of the dinosaur bottle. So we've decided as a staff that water bottles aren't appropriate for nursery. What we have been doing and what we will continue to do is we have got cups that we keep by the sink, and we offer the children water at regular intervals. If they would like a drink of water, they have it in the cup, which is then put straight for sanitation to make sure that it's sterilised properly and there's no cross-contamination. So there's less of a risk of any of the children catching things from each other. Likewise, the other classes in school are bringing a piece of fruit to school for snack. Now, we have discussed this, and we think that especially with the age of the children, it's better that we don't adopt this in nursery. The reason being that actually the children are only here for a maximum of 2.5 hours. So in the morning, provided they've had a proper breakfast before they come to school, and in the afternoon, if they have eaten their lunch, they should be okay until they get home to have a snack. When the children are in school, especially for the foreseeable future, can the children wear trainers and jogging bottoms to school, because we have exercise every single day. We go outside, the children are climbing. It's easier if they've got jogging bottoms on and not skirts for the little girls, and certainly not jeans for the boys. We don't allow jeans in school. They allow the children to move more freely when we've got our outdoor time, which is daily. Trainers are better for the grip on the yard and especially climbing. Some of the girls have got lovely shoes, but they're not really appropriate for the nature of the class. This is just a reminder, because we do exercise every single day. We're getting into winter now, and it's cold and it's sometimes raining. I will take the children out in the drizzle, not in heavy rain, but in drizzle, so every child needs to bring a coat to school. We do ask that the children wear uniform in nursery, which is the yellow polo shirt, just to remind you, with the badge, and the blue jumper with the badge. The uniform is available from Begoni, which you can get on the internet, or you can visit the store in Llansamlet. We no longer stock the uniform in the office with Mrs. Davey. One of the things I always check during this meeting is if you've changed your address or telephone number in the past year since you've checked with the last class teacher or Flying Start or with me. It's very, very important that you keep us up to date with your home address, with your telephone number, plus the mobile numbers of all of your emergency contacts on the form. If we did need to get hold of you in an emergency, we'd work our way down through that list, so every number needs to be updated if it is changed. Keep us up to date with those things. It's very handy if you send these in on a little post-it note with the instructions, so change of address or emergency telephone number change and the person's name and the new telephone number. More important than ever is that you keep us up to date with your email and you check your email as well. Lots of things are communicated via email at the moment, and you really do now need an operational email should we need to go to online teaching and Teams meetings where I could read a story to your child over the internet. So please, please, please update your email information. If you don't have an email address yet, ask a friend to help you, or if you're really struggling because perhaps there's nobody around that can help you in the language, East are available to help with translation services. If your child has any new medical information or needs, maybe you've discovered an allergy or they've got a bad chest and they've got a pump at home, you need to let the school know, and we need one in the school. It might not be asthma, it might just be that your child needs help with their oxygen during times where they've got a cold, but it is important that we have one of those pumps available to us in school and the appropriate instructions for using that pump. We're very, very strict at the moment on attendance and you contacting us to tell us if your child is off school for any reason. We will chase now and we will ring you to find out why, but it's what we do ask is that you ring the school and you ring the school office on 01792 655 763. Leave a message on the answer phone saying your child's name, nursery, and whether they are the morning or afternoon session, and the reason for absence. If you are not clear in your message what the reason is, you will get a telephone call just to clarify that your child is not displaying any symptoms of COVID. If you, your child, or anyone in your house is displaying any symptoms of COVID, just to remind you, the whole house needs to isolate until you have a negative COVID result. The school will need to see the negative COVID result before your child is allowed back to school. You do need to tell us whatever the reason, whether the reason is that your parents are unable to bring the child to school because the parent's ill at the moment, or whether it's a child illness, or it could be something, especially with as little as they are, perhaps they've been awake all night crying. We need to know whatever the reason is. Now, during nursery school, the main focus for us is the personal and social education of the children, their independence and turn taking. So that's what I'm working on this term with your child. Lots of the children at the moment are experiencing difficulties in sharing toys and taking turns. Another problem we found with the children is lots of children don't understand that no means no. Please, can we urge you at home to be consistent? So if you were telling your child no to something, by then giving in when they have a tantrum, that's making things difficult for everybody. Your children, our job as adults, so my job as a teacher and your job as a parent is to get your child to understand that there are boundaries. And by giving in to your children, you are teaching them that if they cry and if they hit out or lash out, they are going to get their own way. That's one of the main things we are working on in nursery at the moment with quite a few of the children. Independence is a big one with nursery as well. It would be really helpful for us if you start getting your child to put their own coat on and take it off as well. I know it's difficult when you're in a hurry and you can't wait to leave the house and you're in a rush, but this is something very important. Your children are 3 years old. Some of them might be 4. And we are teaching them to be adults. The putting on of coats and taking off of coats and socks and shoes is actually at this stage more important than reading and writing, which is very important, but your child is learning to fend for themselves when you're not around, and when we aren't around as staff as well, we're teaching them to start doing things for themselves. So that's something you can really work on at home, is independence, especially for self-feeding as well, because that's something I can't do at the moment. I can't give them a cup of milk, because usually every day we'll sit around and we'll have milk and fruit. That's something I can't do now. Occasionally we'd have soup or cereal. It's your job to teach them how to use these utensils and cutlery, because in September next year they're going to be in the dining hall by themselves. Another thing, please, is talk to your child. I've had a few conversations lately with parents who've said they're too busy to talk to their children, so their children are on iPads. We really need to limit the amount of time that your children are on iPads. I'm not saying stop it completely, but limit the amount of time. So short sessions on the iPad, lots of play and talk with real people. It doesn't have to be children. It can feel funny sometimes as an adult playing with your child, but that is the best way your child is going to learn. I'm going to show you some of the things we are doing in class at the moment, because I do like to explain this during this meeting. We follow a reading scheme called Read, Write, Ink. Now, not all of the children are ready to take on sounds, but I'm doing it with the whole class, so those who are absorbing it can, and the other children are familiar with what they look in like, what the sounds look like. So the reading scheme starts with pictures like this. So this is a tower, and we'd say tower, tower, and then t, t, t. We also have the Maisie and her mountains, and I don't call this M, I call it If I teach the child that this is M, when they start into read and sound blend, they've then got to learn that it sounds like so I don't use the letter names at all. Please be careful with some of the sounds, like t. It's quite easy for us to say t. It's not a t, it's a t. When the children are starting to learn to read, they need to know it's t. It's not t, it's not t, it's t. S, a, d. These are the sounds I've done up until this point. At the end of this week, I will be introducing I. If you look on the internet, you can find the order of sounds that are, the order the sounds are taught in with Read, Write, Ink. If you just put into Google, Read, Write, Ink, sounds order. Please do not teach your child the letter names, because it is confusing for them afterwards. Something else we use in school to teach number and value is Numicon. And here are two of the Numicon pieces. This is 4, and we're teaching the child what 4 is. Not what the numeral looks like, but what 4 is. And what we teach the children is 1, 2, 3, 4. You may see, your child might talk about Numicon when they come home. And again, with lots of early years activities and things you see online now, you might see the Numicon. So this is what Numicon is, and it does help to understand it helps your child's understanding of the value of number, not just what a symbol looks like. Can I just thank you all for your cooperation since we've been back September. It's been a tough term. Your children have been marvellous, and you have been marvellous. I would like to reassure you that the class is completely sanitised every session when your children leave, ready for the next class that comes in the afternoon or the morning class, and every single toy is washed. We are doing everything we can to keep you and your children safe during this worrying time. If I have had any concerns about your child, whether it be their emotional well-being or behaviour or academic concerns, I will have spoken to you by now. I will have called you for 5 minutes at the gate, or I will have given you a telephone call. There might be something that you are worried about at the moment, and if you are, please feel free to ring the school and I can ring you back. The telephone number which I mentioned earlier, written it down for you to see as well, so you can ring on 01792 655 763. free. That goes through to the school office. Or you can also email me on my work's email address, which is cerasolod1@hubcymru.net. CERASUOLOD numeral 1 at hwcymru.net. Thank you very much. I look forward to speaking to you all soon.